Hey, Goat Knucklers, welcome back to another episode of Go Knuckle Talk with Flo. I am Flo. And before I introduce my co host, remember when you're on the YouTube channel, smash the subscribe button, click on the notification bell, like the video, and also leave a comment. So let me go introduce you to this wild and crazy woman from the class of 83, my class, Lisa Nolan Hafner. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Flo. How are you?
I am good. So who this motley crew we have on
We have a motley
tonight?
crew. Well, can I first of all, let's talk about our sponsor for tonight's show.
That's my bad. My bad.
That's okay. So tonight's show is graciously sponsored by Farmers Insurance King Agency. They opened their doors on March 2nd, 2020, and they offer various products, including auto, home, life, commercial, small group health, and Medicare insurance, serving Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Colorado. They have a fantastic team dedicated to customer service, and their focus is on ensuring that customers understand what they are purchasing while securing the best premiums possible. And they take pride in Plainview and appreciate what we've done on this show on Goat Knuckle Talk with Flo. And you can reach them for more information at 806-296-6988. Go Farmers Insurance King 8.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, farmers. And next show, United's going to give us a $5,000 to sponsor the next show. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So tonight we have some very special guests, 1982 football players.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention
Boys.
names and then I'm going to go to each one of you and welcome you. So Jerry Cargill, Hollis Dunlap, Kevin Mosley, Rodney White, Harold King, Billy Yarbrough, and maybe Luthes Thompson will join us later. So, Jerry, tell us where you're living now and what position you played in 82.
We moved out here about 25 years ago. Live in Arizona, city called Goodyear, sub of Phoenix.
Okay. And what position did you play in high school?
I played fullback.
Okay. Awesome. Hi, Billy. How are you?
Doing excellent, excellent. I played right guard. I'm in Amarillo, Texas.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Excellent. Holly.
You're close to Jerry.
Yeah.
Hollis.
I'm in Arlington, Texas. I played free safety and tailback.
Awesome. Kevin.
I'm in Lubbock, and I played tight end.
Awesome. Harold.
I was the field goal extra point kicker and a backup punter to Mr. Mosley.
And where do you live?
Plainview, Texas.
Awesome. And last but not least, Kevin.
No.
Rodney.
Rodney. I said that. Sorry, I already said Kevin. Rodney. I
I
knew
live
that.
in Plainview, Texas, and I played defensive end.
Okay.
Cool. Well,
Wonderful.
guys, welcome. Welcome to the show. And again, we have a couple of returners, Harold King and Kevin Mosley. Welcome back, and welcome to the other new faces, which not new faces, but to the show you are. But hey, you know what? Let's start with the questions. But I'm going to throw a freaking curveball at you. I'm going to aim it at your head, but it's going to drop right down the center. All right, guys. All of you guys were played offense and defense. So in offense, you probably hit someone really hard by blocking. In defense, you probably knock someone on their ass catching the ball or running the ball. But I want to know, Jerry Cargill, can you remember a play that knocked you on your ass?
Oh, it was probably 2-a-days. And I don't think he'll mind me saying, but Brett Mayberry lit me up. And I was actually playing defense. And I think that's the last defensive play that Coach Sherwood let me play. He said, "No, you're gonna just be on offense."
So explain what was the play? I mean,
it was end around. I think I imagine PW Luthez or somebody was running the ball, and he was playing tight end, but he was pulling with the guard, and I was coming up, but Yeah, well, it didn't work out. He ear hold me, man. Uh,
You're alive to tell the story. So
yeah.
that's all that matters.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I think if I remember right, when we hit the ground, the reason Sherwood wouldn't let me play no more was I dislocated my shoulder, and so it was insult to injury. He tore me up.
Okay, that's a big boy too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, Billy. What about you, my man?
Oh gosh, probably about the same time because I remember we were it was 2 or 3 of us in there with dislocated shoulders. I remember we was doing like a goal line stand practice or something, and I don't even remember what happened. There was a pile up, somebody fell crooked on my shoulder. It was dislocated, and I remember going into the Coach Billingsley comes over to the pile and says, "What's the matter, y'all, bro? What's wrong?" I'm trying to tell him with my mouthpiece in there, and he can't hear understand, so he just thinks I need help. So he reaches down and grabs my thumb and pulls.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, man! That's when I knew it was dislocated. But when I thought, oh gosh, yeah, no, that and I can't remember the left guard name, but um, we were doing kickoff and going down the field, and I still to this day remember watching the film after the practice and me doing a helicopter because he ear holed me. I was like, oh, it wasn't fun.
Well, hey, let me ask you guys, Jerry and Billy. Did they try to pop your shoulder back in during the practice, or?
Yeah.
You know, if I remember right on mine, as we were going down, he was underneath my shoulder a little bit too, underneath my armpit. So it came out, and then when I hit the ground, it popped back in.
Okay.
So
Billy?
they didn't have to do anything on mine.
That's good. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, it was sort of the same deal in that pile. Somebody just was in a bad spot under my arm and it popped out. And we went inside and yeah, they just sort of coach was it Beasley, the strength and conditioning and trainer guy, they sort of held me and popped it back in there.
Oof. Ooh, I bet that hurt. I've heard that hurt. All right, Hollywood. Hollis, what about you, my man?
And the hardest hit I had was I wasn't even carrying the ball. It was a fake. And I went the middle. I forgot what play it was. I faked up the middle, and man, Robert Braddock hit me. He picked me up like a sack of potatoes. And me to the ground.
He
I
saw
was out of breath. I don't remember what the play was, but man, that was the hardest hit I had taken ever. Playing football.
And you still feel it to this day, huh? Okay, cool. Kevin?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember it was we were playing Monterey. It was our senior year, and we had a lot of plays. It's tight end. You go downfield and block, and I guess I was blocking the safety or something, and he hit me, I hit him. I have no idea, but I just know I was kind of in a fog. And next thing I remember, Mo Evans was he was over there. And he says, "Mose," he says, "wrong huddle, man." He says, "You got to come over here with me." So I was in Monterey's defensive huddle, and he had to come drag me back out. That was prior concussion protocol. You just suck it up and go on. So
yeah, I'm sure we experienced concussions, man, and we just get up and shake it off.
Play on.
I even remember one day in practice, we were practicing kickoff, and I was running down the field, and I got hit, and I remember getting hit, but all of a sudden I was just on the ground, and I'm assuming Steve Smith hit me because he's the one who helped me up. That's me. Are you okay? I mean, I was dinged, man. I was dinged.
Hollis sounds like you got your ass hit quite a bit.
Well, now I did some out now. I just I'm gonna tell you this. I made some running backs switch over to defense.
There you go.
Our team. So
that's cool.
All
right. Harold, What about you, my man? What about you?
So I got a really funny story for you. This goes back to Kevin Igo, Urban Davis, Kevin Woods, and all of them. I was 14 years old when I went to practice one morning, was on JV, and I came in and Coach Billingsley met me at the Coke machine in the field house. And he said, Harold, go get your stuff out of your locker room and move over into the varsity locker room. So I look like one of those kids that you see that goes to prison, Michael. And I'm walking in that locker room and I've got them in my hands.
And he was puckered up.
Yeah. And I look over there and there's Urban Davis standing, and I will tell Urban Davis to this day, he was standing there in his jock strap. And he turns around and he looks at me, and Billy Arborough's laughing at me right now. He said, he called everybody green weenie. I weighed 165 pounds, and I'm sitting there holding my shoulder pads in my uniform, and I'm thinking, holy shit, I am weighing in over my head. And insult to injury, in the next day or two in practice, they stick me on the scout team, Billy. Everybody, Kevin Mosley, whatever. I'm a sophomore weighing 165 pounds. And we never threw the ball anywhere. So there's a story sitting there, Kevin Woods, Kevin Igo, whatever, and I'm running back, whatever, and I'm a punter and a kicker, dude. And I roll up, Kevin Igo and Kevin Woods ran over me like a freaking freight train, dude. They knocked me up off the ground about 5 foot and about 10 feet straight back. And to add insult to injury, they picked me up off the ground when they were going back to the huddle, dude. And I'm thinking, I'm still alive, dude. Jared, Paul, you were on that team too.
Yeah.
Hey, Harold, I figured they would. I figured you would say whenever we played Estacada, because they'd always send a guy right after you as soon as you kicked off.
Oh yeah, dude. That's why I have a separated right shoulder, dude. Yeah, Kevin Igo and Woods running over me, dude. That was like a freight train running over me.
Nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
Rodney?
Me and Kevin Igo still laugh about that.
I remember it well. I was on the kickoff team, and we were playing Estacado, and there was a guy returning the ball, and he was about as big as Billy. And I remember going down as fast as I could, and I was going down to get him in the legs because that's the only way you're going to get him down. And when I went down, his knee came up, and my head hit his knee, and all I saw were these little purple birds floating around. I didn't know where the sideline was or anything, so I was just trying to follow the group. Yeah, that was the hardest I ever been hit.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask a serious question.
Kevin, the reason I still have shoulder problems is because I Lubbock Estacada.
I'm sure all of you sustained a concussion based on these stories. At any time in your current age, we won't say what that is because we're all old. Do y'all ever worry about those concussions and the long-term effects or ramifications of them?
Yeah, I would say this, Lisa. Yeah, I'll worry about them. Yeah, there's so many times from Tiger League to whatever, and I'll even chime
Are you
in.
kidding? I use them as excuses.
We welcome them things.
They're weenies nowadays, man. We got hit hard back then. You know how it was. Your dad used to tell you that when I played football, we didn't wear helmets. Yeah, well, that's kind of the way I feel.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, guys, they taught us back then to hit with our crown.
Yeah.
I mean, that was taught back then.
And plus those helmets, I mean, they weren't anywhere close to what these things are now,
Right.
I mean, shoot, they were just a shell with a lot of times, just kind of had that almost a
Coating?
just a suspension, just a suspension in it, and then those Rydell's had
It had
that.
some paint on it. That was
Yeah.
it. A shell with some paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I asked that because there's a lot of studies now. I'm in the wellness industry, and there's so many studies now about how head injuries leads to dementia and Alzheimer's. And so, you're at an age where that's something to think about and consider, not to poo-poo on the fun that we're having, but I'm just curious.
Right, right. That's just reality in life. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it, but I forgot.
Yeah. Well, it's called CT something.
CT.
What is it?
CT.
And that's it.
Yeah. Thing, over time, multiple and multiples. I mean, I can only think of 2 times where I could think that I actually had a concussion, or the symptoms of a concussion. And the one time I told you about during kickoff practice, and when Gary Kubiak hit me with the football. I remember with Kevin. I think it was Kevin. He came home with during Christmas or Thanksgiving. We was in the gym on the turf. We was playing football, and he told everybody to go out. And he told me do a little curl. So I'm doing about 6 yards and did a little curl, and he unloaded. And Kevin said, "Hey, these guys are only." Because he didn't pull nothing on that thing, and hit me right in the head, boy, boom. And he had tell him, "Man, these guys just in high school. You can't unleash that like that."
You're talking about Gary Kubiak, the coach?
Yeah, it was Kelly Raper.
Oh,
yeah, they were at A&M. He came home.
It was Raper.
It was Raper, yeah. They came home for I think it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas, but we was in there on the grass, not on the grass, on the turf, playing football. And boy, he didn't give me no space. If I'd have been maybe 20 yards, it wouldn't have been so bad. But about 5, man. But I ain't had I think that's a cumulative thing that's happened quite a bit. I don't think it's as bad a deal if it's a once or two off kind of a deal, but over time, if you've had a lot of them, that's where it starts to show up.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what Billy said. It's the overtime and a lot of the people. You're talking about guys that played in the NFL, and so you're talking about 10, 20 years worth of time between high school and all the way up. And luckily, we didn't. I don't guess any of us had that many, but. And I probably had others too. I know I got hit in the head whenever my kids were playing baseball. I got hit in the head with one, and probably about as hard as you ever been hit too. So, I guess like Hollis said, it's just part of life, and you're aware of it, but you don't dwell on it.
Yeah, you said started in high school. I think mine started in Tiger League.
Well, now we know what's wrong with you.
Everybody in this conversation has probably had 1 or 2 concussions in their life, growing up from Tiger League, junior high, and high school, getting hit and whatever. But if you have them multiple times over whatever, it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had more down on my hand.
Hey, speaking of Tiger League, Jerry, what team did you play on in Tiger League?
Did you
play?
I moved to Fort Worth when I was 1st grade, and I lived in Fort Worth until till the start of the 6th grade. When I moved back, I started 6th grade. And I never played football until 7th grade.
Okay.
But I did play in Fort Worth. Started when we were like 7, 8. So I played, but I just didn't play here.
Flag football?
I was a guard. I was a guard. I was a little stubby dude. I didn't start growing till 6th grade, so I sort of stretched out. But yeah, probably my first 2 years I was a guard.
At that young age, was it flag or was it full
No,
contact?
it was full pads.
Oh wow.
It was
Okay.
full pads. If I remember right, we started full pads like 7 years old down there, something like that. I wasn't there at 7 years old, so I
Yeah.
don't think. I didn't play when I was 7. I think it was 8 or 9 when I started.
All right, Kevin, did you play Tiger League?
Oh yeah, I was on the Steelers. Rodney and I were both on the same team.
There he is.
Wow.
We used to carpool, and that was like during the the gas shortage deal. Back in the 70s and stuff. And I just remember, you always had to have all your pads on, ready to go. And those cars, my mom had a Volkswagen Rabbit diesel, and me and Rodney would get in the back, and that was the only thing you could fit, two sixth graders. And that's about all you could fit in there was the two of us. That's how little those cars were. But Rod and I played on the same team back then.
Do you remember who your coaches were, Rodney?
I know he worked for the DPS. Jerry.
Man, I wouldn't even know, Rod.
Jerry
Jones?
Like that.
Yeah. Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones.
There you go.
Wrong team.
I'm the first one that tore Mosley's knee up.
Yeah. We had nice blocking drills, so appreciate that, Rod.
Surgery.
All right, Hollis, what about you, man? Did you play Tiger League?
Yeah, I played for the Green Bay Packers. The Plainview Green Bay Packers.
Okay, can you share a little story about playing in 6th grade?
I played tight end. So, and then played kind of just everywhere I was needed to play. I think Craig Williams and Eric Woods was on my team. And one thing I remember, I didn't start out playing at the beginning of the year. Was it Wayne was playing Tiger? Somebody was playing Tiger League, and they actually brought the coach. The coach had asked him about, you got any more friends that want to play football? And so whoever it was brought him over to our neighborhood. And I don't know if we were at the gym or what, but anyway, the coach was talking to us about coming and playing football. So I went and signed up and started playing, I think right before the first game of the season. But I remember that Wayland Bowl, and I hated getting up that Saturday morning and going playing, having the first game. I was okay if we was playing second or third game. But yeah, that was fun. That was my first organized football, playing in pads. I mean, first organized was 5th grade, playing YMCA flag football. So, and I think Coach Kearley was our coach in the 5th grade. I don't. Anyway. But yeah, that was my first time in pads. So
cool. Billy, did you play?
Yeah, but I didn't come to Plainview till the end of the 6th grade. But my dad was in the Air Force, and so we moved around. And so I played Little League in Laredo, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Gulfport. Where else did I play at? So San Antonio, played a few places, but until I came the 5th, 6 weeks of 6th grade at Ash.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Harold, last one. Did you play Tiger League?
Oh yeah, I played Tiger League. Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
Rodney's laughing at me right now, people. Me and Jay Webb played on probably the worst Tiger League football team that ever happened. We played against Mosley and Rodney. We were 0-6 in the only 2 touchdowns we ever scored. Jay Webb scored on a 5-yard touchdown run, and Jay Webb threw me a touchdown pass, and I outran everybody to the end zone.
Hollis,
we sucked ass, dude.
No, I was there.
I remember they scored 2 touchdowns that year.
Oh, but the other side of it, me and Jay Webb wound up on the Little Dribblers basketball team, and we won the city championship.
You redeemed yourself.
Yeah. So,
Redeemed.
hey, I assume your cheerleaders quit since you guys didn't score much.
Oh, dude,
They just said, they start cheering for the other team, probably.
Yeah, we were terrible, dude.
Man, I love Tiger League because I was fast back then.
Yeah.
That went by the wayside real quick.
But yeah, it's funny. Me and Jay Webb, 2 touchdowns, and we were 0-6. We scored whatever. Yeah, we sucked, dude. Yeah, it was awful, dude.
All right.
But we had a good time.
That's all it's all about, man. It's all about that.
Michael, did you play Tiger League?
Yeah. Yeah, I played for the Raiders.
You played for the Raiders.
Yeah.
I cheered.
Alton.
Yes, Alton and my dad coached the team.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who
So
was the black and yellow team? Steelers, right?
Yeah.
That's who I cheered for.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, Mo.
so fellas, let's talk about hell, what do you want to talk about, guys? You want to talk about the middle school? Can you share any stories about, because I know like in 7th grade when I played, there was like 2 different teams, blue and red, I believe. And I assume the same thing with you guys, Hollis. Was one, and I felt like one team was stacked when I played. What about you guys? Was it evenly, or was one team better than the other?
Remember it being pretty even.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Red
a
and blue.
Yeah.
The championship game at the end of the year ended up being between us too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember the red and blue played at the end there for the deal, because we won pretty much all our games against the other Hereford and all of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Hereford, Canyon, Clovis.
All the time we were red and blue. I could play 7th grade. I had my knee was injured in playing sandlot football. But played a lot of that. Now I played every position.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I know 8th grade came down to red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well,
I remember the last 14 seconds,
this flow,
Alton taking the ball and just running all around the back.
Oh, I remember that game. I was there.
A lot.
I remember that.
Coach Selke told him, say, listen, when they hike the ball, just take off running zigzags to run out the clock.
Was that Alton Jackson?
Yeah, it was junior. I remember that.
Oh man.
I know you were on the road.
And they didn't catch him. They
I
did.
chased him for 5 minutes.
Oh, he went out of bounds.
Then when the clock ran out, he just went down. It was close. It was like 2 scores to 1 score. I mean, it wasn't a big lead or nothing. I mean, it was tight. So he just
No.
told
Yeah,
him,
it was always tight.
It was always tight.
Yeah.
yeah, really good one.
Yeah, that's the thing about our class flow. There was a whole bunch of really good athletes from Cargill to Rodney White to Luthez Thompson to whatever, all of us. Yeah, and Alton Jackson. I was on the team that lost that night. That was crazy. And I wanted to kill Alton when that shit was over with.
Like, man.
Billy's laughing right now.
That was so funny, man. That was really funny. I was like, oh my gosh.
All right, Lisa, you have a question to ask the guys?
It was like 4th down, I think, too. And so instead of running it over to them, that's when he told them to
On like the 20 or the 30-yard line. And Alton took off and run it, and I chased his ass all over that damn field.
And he was laughing. You could see him and hear him.
Yeah. Well, you could see his teeth smiling.
Yeah, he was having a good time.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Well, I was going to ask, were there 2 teams because there were just so many players? Is that the reason there was a blue team and a red team?
Yeah, actually, there was also a white
Three
team.
teams.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was
it
thinking there was
That's right.
two other teams, and they just played each other each week,
it
wasn't it?
was a red, blue,
Yeah,
and a white
well,
team.
everybody on the white would get divided up, and they would be like, and they would play each other.
Yeah.
Whereas now they got 2 traveling games. They got 2 games where they got to go somewhere, but the rest of the time they pretty much played each other. The only ones traveled every week or played other teams every week was the red and blue.
Red and blue.
So the white players eventually end up being in PE in 8th grade. Then sounds like they weren't that good.
Some.
I guess none of you guys were on the white team.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't remember 3. I just remember 2, but it was funny. I had a good my little league year. I played very, very, very. I pitched very well, and that's when we went to state. And coach, I forgot his name. He when I joined the team, he goes, "Flores, you're the kid that was a pitcher in summer league." I'm like, "Yeah." Put me quarterback. I sucked at it. I think I lasted 2 games. I'm like, Coach, no, I'm a baseball player. I hit a target, not moving target. So, but McAdams, Coach McAdams. It was Coach McAdams in 7th grade.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's just jump into varsity. Jerry, when did you end up going to varsity? What year?
Sophomore year,
And did you?
I was on varsity.
Okay.
If I don't shoot, I can't remember. There was 4 or 5 of us, wasn't there, Harold?
Yep. It was me, you, Beth Billingsley, Stan Sherwood, and Randy Dorsey.
And
Dorsey.
Steve Williams was on there too.
Yeah. It might have been 6 of us.
Is that when Irvin and those guys play? I mean, Royce. If I do my math right.
No, it would have been Kevin Igo and them senior year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Class of 80. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you play much? Did you just?
You know, I played all special teams, and I would get in there to run the ball some. I'd probably get to run it, I don't know, 3-4 times a game, probably. So he let us get our feet wet. Of course, Irvin got most of the carries, and then me and Pete Pat, we probably got 4 or 5 each. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
Was it?
I got to play behind, mostly cleanup.
Yeah.
I got to do some cleanup the last few minutes of a game. It's out of hand or so.
What about you, Billy? When did you start varsity?
That's what I'm saying. My sophomore year.
Oh, your sophomore year. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Randy was on that right side, and Steve was on the left, at the left tackle at that time, and we mostly got to clean up, when it's out of hand or, and I want to say it was a couple of times where we got at least the whole quarter off almost, so it wasn't too bad.
That's cool. Hollis?
I went to varsity. I was doing varsity my junior year, and a situation occurred where I got moved up to varsity, and then missed practice. Practice and got moved back down to junior varsity.
Practice. You talking about practice?
Practice? You talking about practice?
They had rules, and you didn't follow them. You look lucky to do the Easter egg hunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I had to do that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So Mosley, I guess you were there your sophomore year?
No,
Junior?
I actually did not play at all freshman or sophomore year. I can't remember why, but I didn't even play. And when Stan and them moved, I kind of got to be friends with Stan, and I was over at their house one day, and I was kind of big, and Coach Sherwood's like, "Why aren't you playing football?" And it's like, "Well, I don't know, he said, well, why don't you come out and do that? And it's like, okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah. It's like, okay. So, I went back and played my junior year. I played just, golf and baseball freshman and sophomore. And so then I went back out and played football then again and started off. So junior years whenever I was there.
Did you start or did you just come in?
I kind of spotted in, junior year, started the, senior year tight end and punted. I'd almost forgot, Harold, that I punted. So yeah. Hey, luckily we didn't have to punt a whole lot, so that was good. So
how many concussions did you get?
Well, apparently it's more than I thought.
The CTE is happening right now. So
all right,
I
Harold.
won't say it's all concussions. It could be self-imposed too.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Ain't
Harold,
do it.
You were there your sophomore year, so did you start? Or did you, like the other guys, just play sporadically?
I was basically with Stan Sherwood. We were the field goal, extra point, kickoff, and I actually at that point in time, before Kevin showed up, I was a backup punter for David Duro. And I'm gonna throw Rodney and Kevin Mosley under the bus right now.
All right, throw.
Because when Stan Sherwood got injured when we were juniors and Stan got his whole leg clipped, whatever, remember?
Yeah.
I'm out there on the football field trying to teach Kevin Mosley and Rodney White how to kick field goals.
It wasn't happening. It was not happening.
Two people in the world, and I'm going, dude, you cannot lock your leg. Kevin, am I right?
It was awful. It was embarrassing.
So, Rodney, did you kick left-footed? Since you're left-hander?
I was left-footed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did, yeah.
Maybe we should have. Maybe you should have tried it
Left-footed.
Well, and Sherwood goes, you got to teach these two people how to do this. And I'm like, oh, I just laid my head on my helmet, Michael. And I'm like, okay, I'm done, dude.
So you got to remember too. You got to remember, Flo. This is before soccer style, kicking.
Yeah.
Oh, straight.
So it was straight on, and really, with punting, you laid your toe down.
Yeah, Kevin.
And if we'd have had a decent teacher, somebody might could have taught me how to do soccer team. Soccer.
Thank you, Kevin. That's what I was going for.
Is that right?
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's the teacher's fault.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it, man.
I love it.
Michael, that's what you grow up when you grow up with these dudes.
You heard of the blind leading the blind, right?
Yeah. A lack of talent may have had something to do with it too. So.
And I'm like, sitting on the tee. All you have to do is lock your ankle and kick it.
Wasn't happening.
I could kick it, but it wouldn't go but like 10 yards.
I know.
Yeah, it was
everybody on the line was in trouble when I was kicking those extra points, man.
Once you kick him in the ass.
Oh, they were getting drilled, man. They were getting drilled.
See, I knew this was going to file into some trash talking.
Yeah, absolutely. We love trash talking.
For sure. Hey, for those of you that did play varsity when you were a sophomore, was it intimidating? Like the first practice going into the locker room?
So in other words, Rodney, did you have to watch the guys' jocks or carry their helmets?
No, actually, not quite. Actually, the funnest game I ever played was when I was on varsity, but I went down to play JV for one game. And I got to play nose guard, defensive end, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, everything that one game. It was awesome.
Why was that? Why did they send you down for one game?
They had, I think it was Coronado was undefeated, and they wanted to try to beat them. So they sent me and 2 or 3 other guys down to JV. And no, I don't think we beat them, but we had fun.
Yeah. Was it in you guys? No, I guess you don't remember the other two.
I know one of them was Donnie Ballard,
Okay.
but I don't remember who else. I don't remember who else it was. Yeah, it was a blast.
And that
Like I
was
said, I'm gonna play. Why would you put 165 or 160 pounds at nose guard? I mean, but I did, and it was great.
Hey, that workflow disappearing.
No.
and that was legal in
Yeah, it was cool.
UIL allowed that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long as you didn't play in varsity that week.
Yeah.
If you don't play varsity that week, you can go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, I'm gonna
Actually,
ask
you
the-
can play both as long as you don't play more than 4 quarters.
Okay.
I think it was, wasn't it?
I always thought it was that week. You could play one or the other is what I thought it was, but
I think you can play one or the other. Is what it was.
Gotcha.
and then the next week moved back.
Well, let me ask the guys that made the sophomore team. So that when you guys were there your sophomore year, that was the year after, the 78, 79 team. What was the expectation of the coaches with this the 1980 team, 80, 81 team? Was it
When I walked in that dressing room in spring training,
79, 80, yeah.
fall, whatever, we were with Igo, Kenneth Story, Kevin Woods, Irvin Davis.
Patrick,
I'm
P. Pat.
walking in there with my uniform in my hand, and Irvin Davis is standing there, who I call the Hulk, in his jock strap, and he's calling me Green Weenie, and we are ranked. We're in the top 10 rank in the state of Texas, Michael. And I am absolutely scared to death, dude. And I'm in over my head, and I'm looking at Kevin Igo, Kevin Woods, Kenneth Story, Urban Davis, and there's some other people. Billy Yarbrough's probably shaking his head going, dude, I know what you're talking about.
They had some horses on that squad, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was seniors that year.
Oh, yeah.
And,
And
the expectations were pretty big.
yeah.
But at that group in a way sort of read their own press clippings a little bit too.
Yeah. And that team, Billy, that team should have been way better than what we are.
Should have.
Yeah.
Hollis, we got to reading our press clippings, and we got beat. We got beat by Monterey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the JV was good that year.
Oh yeah. Every year.
Undefeated.
Jay, what was your perspective on that year? You got
Jay was on that team too.
Yeah.
The way I remember it is, of course, the coaches prepared us very well. I mean,
Yes.
they were great coaches, from top to bottom. But there was a lot of good leadership from that senior class as well. It was disappointing year for us because everybody on that team knew we were a lot better than what our outcome was at the end of the year. But I think early in the season, the coaches didn't even have to put a high expectation. They just worked us out. The leadership from the seniors and juniors, I think, set the tone. And then, halfway through the season, we lost a gear or something. I don't know, but it was a collective fail. But I mean, no one person was to blame, but it was we just underachieved, and boy, did we have some athletes on that team. That senior class was loaded. I mean, loaded. They were great athletes.
I I mean,
Just sort of lost focus on the thing.
Jerry said, we were loaded on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was another run to the playoffs, and we just gave it up.
I mean, that's why I asked if you were intimidated because you had some big shoes to follow and to fill.
It's not, 'cause in spring ball that our freshman, I didn't get to play freshman football because I had surgery right at the beginning of August, our freshman year. But getting to go out in when spring football rolled around, that sort of helps bridge that gap.
Yeah, it
So
does.
season roll up, some of us it's not as intimidating because you go through spring ball with a lot of those guys and you sort of get used to it. But if you do get sort of thrown in there come August or September, it can be a little, because it's moving a lot faster too.
Okay, so spring training, like you said, was kind of the bridge. So you guys already developed camaraderie and rapport with your upperclassmen on the team.
Oh, they love the two-a-days, Lisa. They love those two-a-days.
Yeah, and there's a difference. There's a difference in spring training and two-a-days.
Yeah,
a lot.
A lot of difference.
Yeah. And we did almost really a 3-a-day. Because I remember we'd come early for practice. We'd have to come back like 1 o'clock for a little running and film, but then we came back in the evening.
Worked out.
Yeah, and it wasn't in no damn spring either.
Oh,
It
was hot.
August.
August.
Yes.
Hey, remember you would spend all summer like, man, I'm gonna gain weight. I'm gonna put on 20 pounds.
Yeah.
You would end up putting like 10 or 15 on. And by the second week of 2 days, you was down 2 pounds. From where you started.
Well, Hollis, let me ask you this, man. We all have cell phones with cameras and videos. So was there a play or moment in your life where you wish there was an ESPN moment or someone had a camera and caught your play being a defense or offense? It doesn't have to be varsity, but is there one play, I'm pretty sure there is, that you can share with us that you wish you can see over and over again?
Oh, I got it. There was a play when we played my year. Yeah, when we played Tascosa. I got an interception and ran it, I think, about 32 yards, almost all the way down to like the 1-yard line. And it was on the news. It was on Amarillo News, I think. We played Tascosa in Tascosa.
So what happened?
I got tackled at the 1-yard line. And then I forgot who ran it in. I don't know if Luthez ran it in or Robert Jones, somebody ran it in. But I got an interception. I ran it all the way down to the 1-yard line. I knew I was in the end zone too. I was reaching.
were you celebrating before you got there?
No, I was trying to get to the end zone. All I was thinking was
you weren't doing no Deion Sanders?
was going to school at Clan, and he was a freshman at Clan, and he said, I saw you on the news, man. I saw you. I knew that was you. What's your number 30? And so, yeah, he said, you look like the Buffalo Bills. You caught that ball and you ran it. He said, you scored a touchdown, didn't you? I said, no. They got me right there.
So what was the route? Do you remember the route? I mean, I know you're talking about over 40 years, but how'd you get the interception?
They were just, I don't know what the route was, but the quarterback dropped back and passed, and they were passing because they were behind. And I think he got hit as he threw the ball. But I saw that ball. I knew that ball was mine when it came out of his hands.
Cool. All right, Jerry, what about you, Jerry?
Probably my favorite play was probably the first time I ever got to I didn't score either, but the first play I ever got to go in, we were playing the first game of the season, sophomore year. And I got to go in. It's a tight game. I think we ended up winning 21-0. Is that right, Harold? Something like that?
I think so. Who were we playing, Terry? Estacada?
It was Estacada.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was the same deal, probably about 30, 35 yard line. And it's heading towards the field house, towards that end.
Yeah, the
And,
south end, Jerry.
man, I shot out of that backfield. It was like one of those belly plays, and I put a move on the linebacker, and I got down to about the 5-yard line. There's one guy. All I got to do is beat that one guy, and I beat him. And his name was Jerry Gray. And he reached his arm out when I was going by, and he raked that ball out of my clutches. And it landed in the end zone. If I remember right, he's the one that landed on it too and recovered it. I was trying to get it, but yeah. Coach Sherwood, he looked at me all the way over there to the sidelines.
Mhm.
And he never said a word. I mean, but boy, I never fumbled. That's my first and last fumble.
Yeah, but that was against Jerry Gray.
Yeah, it was probably my finest moment. But
Well,
I lost it.
If you lost a fumble to Jerry Gray, who is in the Hall of Fame and whatever, dude, you didn't lose anything
Yeah.
losing a fumble to
I
Jerry.
tell you, that guy was a heck of an athlete.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh,
It was.
Wow.
He's just a quarterback also. Wasn't
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play for the Rams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rams.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
in the Hall of Fame, people.
Oh wow.
His
How about
blood.
you, Billy? Is there an ESPN or iPhone?
Dude.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, when while we was being recruited, we would go to different schools on recruitment trips. We went up to Panhandle State, and they actually had it on video. I never really thought twice about it, but we ran a sweep play, and when I come around the end, the cornerback comes slashing in to try to get the play, but I met him. And I spoke him in the ground like a nail in wood, man. And when I went to Panhandle State, the guy said, man, he said, I want to show you this. I've been watching this. And he put it on the little thing and backed it up and replayed it several times. And you don't think about it in the heat of the moment and the fire. But, I see it and I'm pulling and I'm coming quick. He shoots down in there and I meet him in the hole. Boom. I blow him up. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that can be pretty cool.
Cool. Kevin Mosley, do you have one?
I guess probably the same game as Hollis because we were playing Tascosa and I just remember it was between 60, 70 yards and Quinn, threw me the ball and I mean there was nobody there. And unfortunately, I'm unlike Rodney, he had speed in Tiger League. I never had speed. And so I got caught about the 2-yard line. So I just patted somebody else's stats. They got to score the touchdown. But it was against Tascosa. I mean, that was probably my longest single play, and there. But needless to say, I got caught, and we let Luthez or somebody else get the score. But let them have the stats.
You mentioned Quinneth. Was it Steve George?
No, Steve got hurt. I don't remember when it was, but it was early. And so Quinneth was our quarterback for quite a spell. I can't remember how long now, but Quinneth was a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a varsity quarterback though.
Do what?
He wasn't a varsity quarterback.
Yeah, he was whenever Steve got hurt.
Yeah,
Steve
I mean, he
got hurt
was a quarterback, but he started at corner.
Yeah. Now he was a heck of a quarterback. He could have. I would have loved for him to have been our quarterback, but that's another story. But I mean, I love Quinneth to death. You know what I mean? We were on with Quinneth the other day, and not too long ago.
Hell of a quarterback.
And I mean, I love Quinn, but he was a heck of a quarterback. He really was. I mean, just a great athlete, great guy. All the way around. So
yeah. All right, Rodney, here's your da-da-da, da-da-da. Did you have one of those moments?
Man, I can't think of anyone, to tell you the truth.
Okay, can you think of someone else?
I think of someone else. I'm right offhand. Any of those spotlight moments? No, I really can't. What keeps coming to my head is when we were in 7th and 8th grade. Our biggest competitor was Hereford La Plata, and they had a guy on there named Richburg, and that sucker was huge.
Richburg.
Aubrey.
Richburg.
Y'all remember?
I hated Hereford all the way through school.
I was playing running back, and they called my number right up the front, right in the middle. And I thought, okay, I got this. I took off running, and I saw my guard pull and run away, and there was Richburg. I've never had so many snot bubbles on my face in my life. He lit me up. But yeah, I survived, and I decided I wouldn't do that anymore.
That's cool. Kevin, Harold, did you have an ESPN moment you remember of? Or there was a camera, someone filmed you? Harold?
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking about it.
Well, like I just told Rodney, if you don't have one, you can remember someone else.
Hey, Harold, how about when you melted your cleat to the heater, blow heater there on the sideline?
He's on the sideline.
Mosley, what did you say?
I said, whenever you melted your cleat to the heater on the sideline, trying to warm your foot up.
Kevin, when we see each other, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking nose.
There was a game. I don't remember who it was, but our senior year, it was cold. We had a lot of cold games, and so they had one of those force-fed jet type propulsion heaters on the sideline, and I just remember Harold over there on the sideline warming his foot up. I don't remember if he was getting ready for a kickoff or extra point or whatever, and he stuck his foot right on the front of that thing, and it melted the cleat onto the heater.
He is not commenting.
He pulled it off and then just stringing it out.
I have to tell this story too, because Jerry, Rodney,
here it comes.
Kevin, I don't really go to Plainview football games anymore, but a couple of years ago, I went to a Plainview Hereford football game for one reason. Y'all remember Don Delozier? You remember Don, Kevin?
Who? Delozier?
Don Delozier.
Yeah.
He's their AD.
So me and Sherry sat on the visitor side, and she's like, "Why are we over here?" So I'm sitting there, me and Sherry are sitting there, and the sun is just beating us to death, dude. Delozier shows up. You played ball against him.
Yeah.
He shows up with his wife and whatever, and me and Sherry show up, and we scoot down, and I tap him on the shoulder, and he's like, well, and the other thing about it is his kids played volleyball and whatever with my oldest daughter from Hereford to Plainview. So there you go. So we've had a connection from whatever. I looked at Delozier, and we sat there and we had a wonderful conversation of all of us playing against each other growing up, beating each other to death and whatever. And when I stood up that night, I looked at Don, I shook his hand, and his oldest son, I said, "You have never sent me a Christmas card or whatever, thank you for handing you the district championship when we were seniors in high school." And his son looked at me, he's like,
Basically,
What
what
is-
we did too.
Yeah.
he started laughing. He said, Harold missed the field goal, and we would have never been where we are.
You guys
Yeah,
know that we
there were a lot
had.
of things in
Didn't we
that
have a
game.
touchdown? Didn't we have a touchdown call back?
Yeah, there
Didn't you
were
catch a touchdown pass, Mosley. That was called back.
yeah, there were a lot of things in that thing, Hollis. I mean, it wasn't just one field goal. You know, I mean, that to me was our
We went to
game.
work on Hereford.
Yeah, that was that was to me was our game. That you know where you have that dominant game everywhere except where it counted.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere except where it counted. And you know, I mean, I know I had a pass in the end zones, and you know, just off of my tips, you know, that we had you know, missed field goal, we had you know, we had turnovers at times. You know, we were driving. Yeah, I mean, it was a team effort loss. I'll guarantee you that. You know?
Yeah, but you guys got to. Hey, you guys got to remember, a couple of those guys were 19 years old. They were held
You know,
back.
I still think what was it? It was still just like 6-9 or something
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
a close
Wasn't it?
game.
It
I
was,
told you.
it was, I want to say we were up 9-0 at halftime. They came back and beat us 10-9.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
could have been.
it
Yeah,
was close.
I mean,
It was just that close.
yeah, it was that
And
close.
I
It
think-
was just so many different things, and you know, you can't point to one thing. You can't point to one thing. You know,
I will tell you all this. Jerry Cargill, Hollis Dunlap, Kevin Mosley, Rodney White, Billy Arbro, that shit still haunts me to this day.
I think about it all the time. Yeah.
No, you guys lost 9-6. I'm looking at the
Yep.
annual.
Was it 9-6?
I think
9
we
to
probably
6.
were up 6-0 JC.
Still,
Yeah.
6-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. Yeah.
Now, you guys may not know this, but we had Delozier, Richburg, and Alan Waters on the show with Mo and who else? Lisa, Steve George was on it, and one other person,
Mayberry.
Britt Mayberry. Yeah, I think that was it. We had those guys on the show. If you got to get a chance, watch it. It was a
We'll
good
do
show,
that.
and we're gonna try to have a part 2. So, Hereford, so that's when the rivalry started. I think
Yeah.
either 81 or 82, right?
Well,
no.
it started when we were in junior high.
Yeah, I was gonna say we brought the rivalry all the way through.
Yeah,
We
you're
brought
right, Hollis.
the Plainview rivalry with us.
No, you're absolutely right, Hollis. It was from the get-go. Because they held all those guys back.
Yeah,
They held back
they
a ton of guys.
they did.
You know, so I mean, we were playing guys older than us, but you know, I mean, that is what it is. But they did it for the fact of trying to beat us.
Guys older than us because when we were playing junior varsity, remember we played some varsity teams. At junior varsity, we played some.
Yeah, you
varsity
played, but it was like Mule Shul or Hell Center varsity play.
Florida, I think we played.
We did play Happy Varsity.
Who was it?
Remember that game?
We were,
They played Tuya too, didn't y'all?
No, we didn't play two.
Happy Varsity was
Not in junior varsity. I don't remember playing two.
So Hereford what about Monterey? I mean, like the older guys, Monterey was a rival too.
They really weren't that good when we played them.
yeah.
Monterey was not really. They were our rival, but nothing like Hereford.
Yeah.
It was Hereford. It was Hereford, period, really.
Yeah.
It was Hereford
So-
all the way through high school.
Yeah.
Hollis, your senior year, where did they come to? They played in Plainview, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay, so and you weren't there the junior year, but on JV when you played in Hereford, how was the atmosphere?
Junior varsity.
Yeah, because you said you only
They
played
played
varsity.
junior varsity came and played us at Hillman Field. My junior.
okay.
Yeah, see, because it'd be opposite, Flo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, JV and varsity be
And they
opposite.
spanked us. They spanked us. But they had a running back. His name was, I think, Tony Tillman, and
That's Borger.
Was it Tip? Okay, it was
Wayne High, probably.
Wayne High.
Wayne.
Or
no,
Alfred-
Wayne
or
High
Alfred
was-
Ball.
Wayne High
Yeah.
was varsity. It
Yeah.
wasn't Wayne. It was a
Alfred
guy
Ball?
that was Wayne High was 82. It was
Alfred Ball?
Alfred
No?
Ball. Yeah, it was Alfred
Okay.
Ball. And that game, I was ready for Alfred Ball. I had him dialed up. I mean, the whole game, I was hitting him. We went in at halftime. Big Buck Buchanan was saying that everybody, you break down and hit. He told me, I'm liking the way you breaking down and hit, Hollis. I'm liking the way you breaking down and hitting. And after that game, Alfred Ball told me, he said, man, you're the only guy that could stop me today. You know. But that's what I remember from that game. But they spanked us.
What about you, Billy? Well, when the times you guys played at Hereford, how was the atmosphere playing in Hereford?
It was varsity wise.
Or junior, you probably your junior year, right?
Yeah.
When y'all played in Hereford?
Yeah.
What about your junior year?
Was it our junior? Yeah, it was our junior year because one of my good friends was sort of volatile. He was a year older than us on varsity, and I remember Coach Sherwood would pull me and Randy to the side and say, "Listen, if so and so get a little hot, y'all go pull him off, pull him away so he don't get in any trouble." Because it gets pretty riled up out there and pretty hot. But I remember something happened on their sideline. It was the ball was dead, but he jumped in the coach's face, and me and Randy had to grab him on each side and lift him up and take him back to our side. I was like, dude, what you gonna do? Fight the coach over there? But it's pretty it's pretty wild, man. You know, they screaming and hollering, and just like it would be at home, we screaming and hollering, and everybody trying to get out there, everybody. But it was some fun games, man. You got to dig in and dig them out.
Cool.
You remember
Jerry, what do you remember
always
playing
fun.
there? I'm
You
sorry.
know, my junior year is when I got hurt against Midland Lee, so I didn't get to play against them there.
But you were you at the game?
I was at the game, yes.
I mean, what I'm asking, how was the atmosphere playing in Hereford, like the fans or
Oh,
the,
it was. You know, the thing that I remember about every time that we played Hereford was how bad we wanted to beat them, how bad they wanted to beat us. But there was pretty much a mutual respect of their team and our team. But fan wise, man, it was loud. And I mean it was electrifying. When you lined up that night, whatever night it was that you played Hereford, it was special. It was different. It was just a different vibe.
Agree with that.
You know?
I'll tell you what I like about Hereford when we played them is they going to the that steakhouse with the big cow out in front at the end.
And it was the Big Texan cow in Amarillo. They borrowed it.
Like some kind of steakhouse, but
That was a Big Texan.
at the end of it, we getting ready to leave. The guy tells Coach Sherwood, "Well, you still got 2-3 plates here. What did you miss some guys?" Coach Sherwood looked at me, Randy, and Steve. Said, "Y'all want another plate?"
Well, since you twisted my arm.
You know, Steve's the only guy that I actually know out of all of our friends, but Steve actually ate that 72 ouncer.
Yeah.
No shit.
Oh yeah, he had
Yeah.
plenty of time too.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
remember we used to go, we had the Wendy's, there in Plainview, you remember, and he used to get 2 triples, and just as a regular meal. And that boy could eat.
He could eat a dozen eggs for breakfast. He could eat.
He could eat.
Harold and Rodney, what about you guys? What do y'all remember playing in Hereford?
I tell you what, I'm gonna have to agree with those guys. I mean, the atmosphere was just outrageous. I mean, when you got 2 rivalries like that, it was just whether we were at Hereford or they were in Plainview. I mean, it was loud, and everybody was giving it their all. That's for sure.
And both sides were packed, all the time. All the time.
Well, actually, I think they put some stands up in
Oh
the
yeah.
end
Yeah.
Yeah.
a few
Yep.
times. because they didn't have enough stands to hold everybody.
Oh, damn.
You know what? It starts early because I was thinking about when you was talking about us playing them in 7th grade. I remember them guys looked so much older than us.
Yeah.
In 7th grade, I was playing tight end, and I lined up. The guy looked like he had a beard and mustache going all over his face.
That was probably Richburg.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He was a Hispanic kid, but I just remember him having big sideburns and a beard. And I thought, man, this dude, oh my gosh. And yeah, they wanted to beat us bad, and even in the 7th grade on the sides, they screaming and hollering.
Yeah, they had fans in junior high school when we played them.
Yeah,
they went up and played them. They had fans in, major fans.
All right, Miss Lisa, you got any questions or?
So I want to ask. I guess it's kind of a philosophical question. Is there anything about the game that you did not enjoy? And I'll start with Hollis.
That second practice of two-a-days. I often relate and understand. Yeah. I hated that second practice of two-a-days because it was hot, and regardless of the psychology and how good they told us it was for us, which it was, but I hated that. I hated that second practice of 2 days. I like going out there that first in the morning and getting that practice over, but man, it took a whole lot for me to go back to that second practice of 2 days. But I always did it.
Wait, I was gonna let's do a part 2. What drills did you hate?
I didn't really hate drills.
Yeah.
I mean,
or do you remember a drill? I remember the tip drill as a
tip drill, butt rolls. I remember running through. When you run through one-on-one balance. We did ropes, everything. I remember a lot of different drills. I don't ever remember not liking any part of the actual practice, but I just hated that.
Well, hell, you didn't show up. Your ass got sent down.
No, that wasn't 2 days. That wasn't 2 days.
My bad, Hollis. Sorry, brother. I had to.
Hey, Hollis.
All the same, huh?
Hollis, you're talking about that second practice, and you remember at the end of the second practice, we'd always do that 10-minute run. Full pads. So after we finished, and then I was still in town, and I started doing some stuff with the Tiger League program there in town and everything. I went to Coach Sherwood and I asked him, I said, that 10-minute run, I said, was there a reason we did that? Because we did 100 meters, 100-yard dashes in the morning practice to finish. And then at the last one we did that 10-minute run, I said, was there a conditioning reason or anything? And this is just kind of goes back to the way Coach Sherwood was, and he said, no, he said, all I wanted to do was see who quit. He said, because, he said, I knew the linemen weren't going to beat the running backs and, and all this stuff. He said, but he said, whenever it got down to 2 minutes left in the game or a 4th and goal, I want to know who I was going to give the ball to and who I was going to run behind. He said, I wanted to see who quit when it got rough. And he said, that's why we did the 10-minute run. He said, I didn't care if you came in dead last as long as you didn't quit on me. And, that's just kind of the way Coach Sherwood was. And, you just said that second practice, and that just reminded me of him telling me that. And I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Somebody tell us recently that he got his degree in psychology. I mean, he was a master psychologist, whether or not he studied it.
He definitely knew which buttons to push and when.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say this. Kevin Mosley just chimed in on that 10-minute run that we did in football. And I'm thinking that was the most miserable thing I ever lived through in my life, going through that. But I understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, Kevin. I got your back, brother.
That was rough. That was rough.
It was rough.
What, Rodney? What did you not like about?
You know, I know it's a lot of pain and anguish, but I loved every minute of it. That's
Good.
all I can say. It wasn't something I really didn't like about it. I loved every minute of it, especially the camaraderie that you had
Yeah.
with all these different guys. You know, I can't think anything I really didn't like about it.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's been what 45 years, since we've been together, and I mean, it doesn't seem like it at all. I mean, because of a lot of the things that we all went through together. Nobody ever take that away from any of us, and that's something I always tried to tell my kids, growing up, enjoy the little things, that you have, because those are the things you'll take with you.
Well, I'm going to chime in here, Kevin. When all of us growing up, riding the school bus together, playing football, basketball, and baseball, we are all brothers
Yeah.
in a hood, brotherhood. And I've even known that from the guys that are older than me. They all love us, and we love each other.
Yep.
That's what we do. You know what I mean, Kevin?
Yep. No, absolutely. No question about it.
All right.
We got each other's back.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
That's
Always.
the thing I learned about football more, and I'm probably starting another question here. One of the things I loved about football was not just playing football. It was the fellowship and the brotherhood.
Yes,
And,
sir.
it was embracing to go in that field house and you with your brothers, and you didn't have nothing to worry about. It was like our extended family. That's what it was. And then we had our leadership and our coaches. They were always talking to us positively. We prayed together and stuff. And that was something I didn't see in a lot of programs. I mean, even in the other programs in the school. So it was something different, and it was something that was real positive, and they taught us life skills too. With the way they framed us.
Thought the best, I guess, thing that exemplified that was the dog pack when we would go in at half or at the end. I mean, when we would come into that pack, I mean, it'd be tight, and you just felt like part of, again, something bigger than yourself, and it was protection. I never forget, it was protection, because I remember PW getting into it with somebody one time, and Coach Sherwood said put him to the middle of the pack when we was heading off. So the other guy on the other side, who was a hothead also, wanted to get after him, so he put him in the pack. And I'll never forget, we was going off, that guy ran toward the pack like he gonna get the PW, and it just sort of opened up, let him in, and closed up on him.
He's never seen again, huh?
Yeah. On the tail end, I'll never forget that, opening up and just letting him in, and just boom. But yeah, that pack, when we would come together in that dog pack at the end of games and at halftime to go into the field house.
Yeah.
I remember that now. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Billy. Yeah, I remember the pack and seeing you guys tight. That was pretty cool.
It was cool to watch, for sure.
Yeah. That's too cool. Well, Jerry, I think this is what happened. Can you tell me do you remember what happened after the game against Lubbock High? Or any of you guys?
You mean the big fight?
The big fight. There it is. And I heard that Greg Carter kinda maybe instigated it. May he rest in peace.
To be honest, I don't remember that much.
I'm with you, JC.
Yeah, that was the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big brawl in the middle of the field.
Oh yeah.
So didn't you play in Lubbock?
Yeah, in Lubbock. It was cold. It was cold.
Because I remember us driving, we came back, and then me, Robert Jones, and Anthony McAdoo drove back up there to a party.
Did you fight then too? Did you fight
that
then
big
too,
a fight,
Billy?
Billy?
I don't remember the fight. I remember
Yeah, it was a big fight.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was all
The only fight I remember. The only fight I remember was the one when we were scrimmaging Palo Duro. Remember? And I guess that was our junior year. We had PD for the scrimmage, and Coach Buck was in there just throwing people out like one arm at a time. Boy,
he was doing the same thing at Lubbock High against Lubbock High. He was just going. He was grabbing not just Lubbock High players, but Plainview players, and
That
just
was our-
tossing them.
Yeah, Coach Buck could throw them, boy. I mean, one arm at a time, boy.
Kevin, that was our junior year, right?
Yeah, that was our junior year. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it because I can't remember. Somebody got clipped or something.
PW,
and
I think.
one of the running
PW was
backs,
real big into that one.
yeah, I think it was P-Pat.
It could have been
Got
too.
up
Yeah.
and got a running start. That guy had turned around and he put him down. And I remember Coach Sherwood, he just, during the film, he just kept running it back and forth. This is what not to do. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
This is what not to do.
Yeah. And Coach Sherwood was real good at running that film back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you screwed it up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember against Estacada our senior year, we had, the first game, and they had a big defensive end, Elvin Majors. And, he was first team All-State preseason, all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, Coach Spoon was my position coach, and he did. I remember him telling me, he said, Mosley, he said, you got to get low. He says, you got to get low. He said, that's a big old boy. I said, he'll eat you up. He said, I don't want to see nothing but elbow and asshole. He said, you got to get down there and get after him. And for most of the game, I was doing real well. And so I got feeling real cocky, about the middle of the third quarter. And I got up in his chest, and I mean, he just threw me like a rag doll. And Coach Sherwood, boy, luckily we won the game, so Coach Sherwood was in a good mood. But yeah, he did that. He said, "Oh, what is that flying back and forth through there? Let's run this back again." He says, "Who is this flying through here?" And it's like, "Oh man."
How did you?
I was just glad we won.
rewinds.
I was just glad we won. But he threw me like a rag doll, boy. That was a big old boy.
That same game. Hey, that same game on the kickoff. Now, Estacada was ranked. They were 4-8.
Yeah.
We were 5-8.
Yeah.
They were ranked, I think, in the top 3, and they were picked to beat us. And it was raining. And I know that same game, I was on the kickoff, and I went down, and the guy was running, and he was being tackled, and I was getting ready to break down and hit, and I just slid and went. I don't know if y'all remember that. Coach Sherwood kept running back. I kept my helmet went top to top with the guy, and my body went like this when I hit him. And Coach Sherwood kept running that back, and he said, "Did that hurt you?" And I was so full of adrenaline, it didn't hurt. And thank God that I didn't have a broken neck. I was going full speed too, and I was getting ready to break down. I just slid, and just as he tacked falling, we went head to head.
That was the funnest game. That was our senior year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And remember, there was like about 6 inches of rain on the sideline. I mean, you just walked in.
And you know what?
In inches of rain, and they tried to give us socks at halftime.
Yeah.
I said, "No, I don't need no socks."
Hey, if you got tackled on the sideline, you was worried about drowning.
Yeah,
in that sideline, because it was
in a swimming pool.
That was so fun, though.
It was.
Some of the guys. I knew some of the guys from Estacada. They were after that game. They talked about how if it wasn't raining, how they would have beat us and all this. And I told them we was in that same rain. We played in that same rain y'all was in.
I want to go back to Billy about that party. Tell us about that party, Billy.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Clean it up a little, Billy.
That party got a little dangerous. We went back and, of course, we were in enemy territory. And, got to dancing and talking to the young ladies, and some guys didn't like it because they wasn't getting no attention. And we got into a little bit of a scuffle. And me and Robert was in the scuffle. Anthony had left for something. And man, I hate to give up his game, but Anthony had to pull out a shotgun, man, to get me and Robert.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
That was tough. Did
yeah.
you guys wear your leather jackets?
No.
Okay.
The guys they just recognized that we wasn't from around there, and the girls we were talking to were more interested in talking and dancing with us than them, and it escalated. Guy kept coming and trying to butt into with the girl I was talking to, and it got to a point where I finally looked at him and told him, said, "Listen, dude, if you don't step away, hey, it's gonna be nothing but ugly up in here, man." A couple of his friends come out. That's when Robert stepped over and he jumped up and said, "Oh, I got this. I got this." I said, "Oh, I want you to have nothing for this." And man, before you know it, it's like 12 or 15 guys out there, man. And Anthony just happened to be pulling around into the parking lot and pulled up, man, and got out, man, with a shotgun. And I'll never forget that, man. We got in the car. I told him it's time to go home.
Taking all the bullets with us.
Yeah, man, it's time to go home.
Oh my God.
Well, hey guys, let's go. Let's talk a lot about just high school. Lisa, let's ask these guys not football related, but high school stuff now.
Yeah, like what did you do for fun? Where did you hang out?
Well, we know what Billy did, but
No, I'll tell you one thing I did want to talk about this. Y'all remember the Goatman?
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
hell,
I-
well, let's go Knuckle. Never mind.
Getting ready for this, it came to mind. I remember we was at the Pizza Hut on 5th Street. And there's a bunch of us sitting up in there on a Friday night. And this guy and these girls came in, and one of them was crying, and she had been scratched all up. And they were talking about how they had went out and was checking about the Goatman. So, of course, we'd been drinking a little bit. And let's in and see what's going on. I mean, there was like 15, 20 cars and trucks. We all piled in, headed out to the Goatman to try to see what's going on out there. We got out there. Me, Randy Dorsey, Mark Reynolds. It was about 6 of us was there together tight. We got to hidden and we got off into them silo things. And I think one of the ladders broke or something, fell and bang, and somebody yelled "Goatman," and boy, everybody broke to run back the other way. But we all forgot about that wire, that metal cable they have running across the street there, across so you can't drive in. And I mean, we all hit that thing, boom. I said, well, that's how she got scratched up right there. Well, we went out to find the Goatman. We was gonna catch him.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good story.
That's a great story.
Oh,
Hey,
I-
Jerry, I'm going to start with you. What did you do for? Tell us. Share anything about your high school experience, like what you did for fun, or a memory that just really stands out for you.
Okay, Lisa, who did you say?
Jerry, Mr. Cargill.
I would probably say, probably the funnest times was just Friday, Saturday night, just hanging out with all the guys, everybody. I mean, cruising the 5th Street there, Gibson's, all that kind of stuff, just hanging out. I mean, that was probably the thing that I missed most when went to college and all that was, missing everybody Friday, Saturday night.
Okay. Harold, what about you, my man? What you do for fun?
Oh, I think it's kind of like Jerry said. There was a bunch of us, Rodney, me, Wanda Burnett, Jimmy Cornelius, and a bunch of us that we were all friends, class above us, class below us, Randy Roberts, B. Terrell, Mo Evans, and all of us. We were just a good group of people that just like to hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still in contact with everybody and all that. And hell, we all played football, basketball, baseball, and together. And we're just a good conglomeration of people, same mindset, whatever. And we just had a good time hanging out. Right?
Yeah.
Right, Rodney?
Yeah, we did.
Are you going to say the same thing, Rodney, or can you think of a different?
No, I tell you what, I can't believe nobody brought it up. What about the fun park?
Yeah.
The
Fun park.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Family fun park.
Family fun park.
Help build it, and we sit there and worked at it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's where I met my wife, and I've been married to her for 44 years now. So
Wow.
Wow.
it was a great place.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hollis?
Well, I had a whole lot of fun in different places. So in the hood, we hung out at the Soul Village. I started DJing there when I was like 14 years old, and so I was always DJing there. But I love house parties. We did a lot of house parties on the weekends. Freddy's Arcade. We would go out on Gibson's parking lot sometime too. But our weekends was really spent playing basketball and stuff. I mean, if Wayland was open or high school was open, that's where we was going, playing basketball at Wayland or Highland. We go to Highland because we could go there and dunk. So,
Did you go to Miss Helen's quite a bit?
Oh yeah.
I never went to Nazareth, but I would go across the tracks to go see Miss Helen.
I think we all been to Miss Helen's.
Yeah.
Billy, what about you, man?
He said no.
Much. I really enjoyed the whole experience, man. Especially like I say, down on Fifth Street, cruising through, playing some of the games. I remember playing tag. I don't know if y'all remember doing that with the cars.
Yeah.
What?
Tag. Yeah, it'd be, you slap the other car and that turns them, they have it. I remember being with Johnny Escobar and about 8 cars running down Fifth Street and turning up onto the expressway. And I don't remember who was chasing us, but I remember as we turned, I guess Johnny didn't have his battery tied down good, and as we turned, the battery fell over into the fan.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna tell you, man, Johnny was a true mechanic. We called the car to his house. He pulled that engine, dropped another one in it, and we was back in the race. Yeah, believe, man.
All before 8:30.
Yeah. And the game was still going on, so we just jumped back in it. Oh my God.
Okay.
Remember in Gibson's we would have those bottle rocket fights?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Those bottle rockets. They don't make fireworks like they used to.
No, they don't.
Jerry and me, Jerry and
Right now.
Robert Jones and I think Lee Carter. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
And Robert Jones saying he needed to go to the bathroom. Remember that? And I think it was I don't know who it was told him, well, go ahead. And Robert stood up like he was gonna do it, and the officer said, you better not do that. He was scared and nervous. The officer had pulled us over. Robert said, he needs to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. And I want to say it was either Lee or somebody told him, well, just go over and use it. It was at night. Just use the bathroom over there. That officer, and Robert stood up like he was going to do it. I said, man.
At least he was standing up, not squatting.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell the story on Harold now.
Another Harold story.
So we're at the stoplight. We're at the stoplight of Fifth and what's now the interstate. And so we stop and we're sitting there and it's like Harold, we need another beer. So he jumps out, goes around to the back, pulls it out of the back seat, gets back in, or out of the back of the truck. We go around the corner, and I mean, as soon as we take off, woo!
Oh,
I'm like, God almighty. And I said, what? So we pulled over, and he said something. Of course, back then, everybody, they were real cool. I mean, most of the police, they knew us. And he goes, you know why I stopped you? And I was like, no, sir. And he said, I know what you guys are doing, and it's all good. He said, but next time, he says, tell your buddy to watch who's sitting right behind you whenever he goes and pulls the beer out. I mean, he was directly behind us, and Harold never even
when you're drinking and driving, you don't want the police to see you.
Damn, that's pretty ballsy, Harold.
God.
He was focused on the task, though. He
Know
was
your surroundings.
tasked with getting the beer, so it was all good.
No, Kevin.
And I've talked to people about in bigger cities, and they're asking about the difference playing football and sports in a town with one high school as opposed to like Amarillo. And I say one of the differences is the incident I was talking about with Jerry. I remember that guy looking at us all in there in the car. He knew each and every one of us. And I remember at the end of it, he told us, all right, y'all go home. I don't want to see y'all back out here tonight.
Yep.
I remember times I would be basically drunk.
Yeah.
The light would turn green to turn, and I'm in the straight, and I'd go. And they pulled me over, and I remember him telling me, Billy, you go home. Don't let me see you out here. Instead of giving a ticket, you go home. I don't want to see you out here on the street anymore.
Is that Willie McGee or who else? Bass, Gene Bass.
Oh, Gene Bass. Yeah.
Oh, really? Flo.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask Kevin why he's throwing me under the bus.
Well, hey, let me.
You were being a good friend, getting him a beer.
Yeah, we were just together a lot, so we had a lot of shit happen, And there was another deal, and this is before it really had anything to do with Harold, but his future father-in-law kind of pulled one of those deals on me, Billy. I was headed back from a party. I was with Jim Robertson. And we were headed back to his apartment, and I mean, by all accounts, shouldn't have been driving. And we were headed back to his apartment for the night, and we got pulled over by your future father-in-law, father-in-law. And he looked at. We got out, and I mean, we had empties in the back seat of that car. I mean, like crazy, And he looks at my driver's license. He goes, you play football, don't you? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, Coach Sherwood don't need any more trouble. He said, where you guys going? I said, we're going to his house. And he says, okay. He says, I'm going to follow you. He says, you stop for any more than a stop sign. He says, we're going to jail. He said, otherwise, he says, just go on and go to bed. And that don't happen anymore. It just don't happen anymore. So, like Billy said, we were lucky to be in our time, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We lost some guys.
We lost Harold.
Yeah, we got some grace. Yeah.
And then Hollywood,
sure.
there's Hollis.
And my kids growing up and stuff, I mean, it was totally different. I mean, they were looking for them to do something wrong.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you got to let kids be kids, I think. But
that's true.
Well, but in a larger city, it's not as safe.
No, you're right. You're right.
So many shows that Plainview provided such a safety net.
Yes.
Let be normal kids and teenagers and have, all the shenanigans that teenagers do because we had a safety net.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
The pastors knew you, the police knew you, the parents knew you. You had a safety net.
Yep. No, you're.
But the only problem with the cops knowing you, they knew our parents, our dads.
And it was getting back. Yeah. It wasn't a total free ride.
Well, there was going to be some come up in somewhere.
So I'd rather gone to jail and got my ass whooped by my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember your dad, and yeah, he was the epitome of talk soft and carry a big stick. So
Absolutely, yeah, he was. So going back to high school, now during prep rallies, you guys had to carry your helmets on Friday, didn't y'all?
yeah,
Or that Friday, on that Friday,
all day Friday.
all day Friday, and
Had a team shirt on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So does that start with the fresh guys, with Royce and those guys?
That's where when Coach Sherwood got there, right?
Okay.
All the Angry Red stuff. Yeah.
79. Yeah.
Going to the elementary schools. I remember doing those, going and talking so they can see the helmet, the kids. I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Cool. Billy, one thing that Luthez told me when he was telling about getting you on the show, he goes, man, I used to love Billy Arbro, especially on, is it X-Right 328, I think. He said you would always pull, and he goes, I would grab Billy or just follow him, and he would lead the way. So Harold, I'm back. I'm glad you're back. I want to ask you, Mosley. Hey, did Rodney take off?
Oh, well, I want to know why y'all are all laughing at me.
No, but I want to ask you guys.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to ask you guys about that picture, Harold and Kevin. So I understand you guys got in trouble for doing that, didn't y'all?
And not bad. But
it's you guys wearing the leggings.
Yeah. The leg warmers. Remember her?
Leg warmers, yeah.
I remember that incident.
Yes.
So Harold, who was the instigator about putting those leg warmers on? Because that was you and Kevin, Assiter, DeBerry, Smith,
Mark Smith.
I forgot this other guy's name.
Yeah.
Spearman, Darren Spearman.
Yeah.
So who was the instigator? Who started it, or whose idea? Y'all remember?
I don't remember.
I don't really remember. Kevin, do you remember who instigated that?
I really don't. I just remember, remember all the girls used to wear them around all the time. And somebody got the wild ass idea that that'd be a good thing for us to do. And so, we borrowed them from everybody, and we were wearing them around.
Did it, huh?
Yeah, why not? Hey, we were young and stupid.
I remember thinking that it was so stupid of y'all to get in trouble for it. I'm like,
I don't think it wasn't that big a deal. I think we just got called down, and I think Mr. McBee just told us that it was a disruption or something, and I don't remember us really getting in trouble. Do you, Harold?
Yeah, I remember getting chewed out by the football coaches and whatever, Kevin. And
I think we got more trouble for that than at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got in trouble from the football coaches, and I'm going, dude, I was wearing Christy Bentley's leg warmer things when we all stood around that dot at the field in the gym. And I'm going, okay, you really crude.
I gotta cut off his wine.
Really me for wearing some leg warmers at the gym. You know what I mean, Jerry?
So who was wearing the thongs?
Oh no.
We're called flip flops, Flo.
Hollis. All right. Change. New question. Ass whooping. But mention Mr. McBee. When's the first time you got licks? If you got any, I assume you did.
Yeah.
The only time I ever got licks, I got them by him.
Oh.
And why?
The whole time I went through high school, I never got licks. I vowed that I was not going to ever get licks, especially by Mr. McBee. And I ended up in a fight and got suspended. And I ended up in a fight, and I told Mr. McBee I wasn't taking licks. And he suspended me for 3 days. And so I went home. My mother was mad at me. And because of the fight and how everything, you know, transpired, I felt like, well, that was self-defense for me. Anyway, long story short, I ended up calling Mr. Veach, the superintendent at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked to me, and he said, Dunlap, come on now. He said, be a big boy, go on out there and take your licks and get on, you know, with your schooling. And so I went back out to the high school and took the licks from Mr. McBee. 3 licks. Yeah, he set my ass on fire.
How many did you get? Do you remember?
Huh?
I mean, do you remember how many?
3.
Woo!
Yeah, 3. You know, 1 was 3. So that was 9.
Billy, what about
There's got to be a contest between McVee and Griffin from 7th grade.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
remember Mr. Griffin. Woo. I never got
Griffin
licked.
was in the pile.
I never got
all
licked in
Rodney?
junior high.
Since you're speaking up, what was your first licks and why'd you get them? Who'd you get them from?
Me?
From my daddy
Rodney.
when I was like 2.
No, not daddy. Let's talk about teachers.
Probably Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, probably Mr. Griffin.
Yeah. We he was going to the office one day and he told us, he said, y'all stay in the room. I don't care what y'all do. Don't use any of the equipment. Because it was wood shop. He wanted nobody hurting themselves. But he told us,
Rodney, that's
leave
what
this
happened,
room.
Rodney.
Yeah. He said, y'all don't leave this room. Well, shoot. We went down. I don't know if y'all got to go to Coronado. Did everybody go to Coronado, the old one?
Yeah.
The old.
yeah.
You know how they had that outdoor area?
Yeah.
Well, we went down there and we ran back and Mr. Griffin beat us. He was waiting at the door for us. And needless to say, we went back to that outdoor area with the paddle and he whooped all of us.
He laid us out, man.
He laid us out.
8 people.
Yeah.
3 licks apiece.
Ouch. That's 24. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, after the incident in the 8th grade, they never tried to give me licks anymore. I don't know if y'all remember that. In 8th grade in football, we had, me and Coach Upchurch had a bad date, and I started taking my uniform off out on the field and throwing it to the side. I don't know if y'all remember that. Me and him, it just never could click. And that day, he was relentless, and I was getting more and more mad. So I took my helmet off and threw it at his feet, took my shoulder pads off, threw it on the ground, and I started walking in. We get inside, and the coaches are in there, and finally they called me into the deal. And I showed my butt a little bit. I'm gonna just be honest, because I went in there and he was mad and saying, I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna have to do that. And I told him, well, I quit, I'm gone. And I can't remember the one coach, he was saying, well, no, wait a minute, Billy, man, we can get this fixed, we can get this settled. And he went to talking about Coach Church got to talking about, no, you're gonna get licks. I said, I ain't getting no licks. I'm not getting, you can suspend me, but you ain't giving me no licks. He said, if we hold you down, we will. I said, I'm gonna tell you what, you hold me down, I'm gonna get you one each at a time. They looked at me for a minute. I said, I ain't taking no licks. Finally, I can't think the one coach with he was the older one, but in 8th grade.
Keith?
Yeah, Coach Keith. He told me, he said, well, Billy, go on back to the locker room and I'll talk to you later. We'll get this settled. And he went, and I tell you what, I didn't get no licks. And they settled it, cleaned it up, went on about my business. And then in high school, no, they never, and I know I did some things that probably should have got me some licks, How many of y'all remember at lunchtime, a bunch of us racing to the cafeteria?
Oh, all the time.
And we would make a mad dash down the hall.
All the time.
Screaming and jumping to the side. And of course, guys would be pulling each other down to try to get to the cafeteria first. You know, you had to get to that hamburger line.
I remember they had the best chicken fried steaks. I think it was on Wednesdays. Man, I always ate out, but when it came to chicken fried steak,
There you go.
oh, I stay. I eat that. All right, Kevin, what about you, man?
Well, let's see. So I was in oh man, who was the Latin teacher, and she taught some English too.
Kramer?
No.
Oh,
Anyway, I had a little bit of a smart mouth. Imagine that.
Oh,
You
really?
did?
Yeah.
Really, Kevin?
And so so
That's like
actually,
me.
so what happened was the bell started ringing, so I jumped in the room. Miss Kendall. And so I jumped in the room while the bell was ringing, and she goes, "You're tardy." And I said, "Well, are you tardy when the bell starts ringing or after it finishes ringing?" and she didn't appreciate the technicality there. So I had to go down and see Mr. McBee, and needless to say, he didn't appreciate my attention to detail quite as much as I thought he would. So I was let know who was still in charge, and it was not me. And that's about all you need is one shot with him. So
Well, Kevin, I have to tell this story when we were freshmen, and Rodney and Jerry and all of us. I got sent to the principal's office, and y'all already heard the story about me being in the locker room, whatever, with Urban Davis, and thinking I'm way in over my head. I went down there to pick something up, and McBee had Urban Davis bent over and busted his ass 3 times with a paddle in that office at the high school. And I looked at Urban's eyes, and he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, dude, I am not ever getting licks in my whole life, dude. I am not. I said, I have seen in Hollis, I'm not racial, whatever, but I've seen the Black Hulk get licks, and Urban had tears in his eyes. And I'm going, yeah, Hollis.
he was a little guy, but he could generate some torque.
When we were freshmen, and Urban had tears in his eyes, I'm like, dude, I'm done.
Yeah, that was traumatic. I know that was traumatic.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking over the counter, Hollis, and I'm going, dude, I'm done, dude.
I tell you what, Larry was a small guy, but he could generate some torque, boy.
You know, we had we had a class of 82 a while back. We had Walt Taylor, Scotty Hill, Kim, Harold, Kim, Tuttle, Shawnee Trimble. And Shawnee told us she got 27 licks y'all senior year.
Yeah.
27 licks from that young man. I don't know from McBee, but it was 20. So I was like, what?
He kind of had a mouth.
I remember that, and I'm going.
He was pretty smart, McBee.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, you got any? Maybe the teachers.
I want to go back to football because
okay, let's go back to football.
I don't want to end the show without asking what Coach Sherwood meant to you. So I'll start with Hollis.
I will
Coach Sherwood. In many ways, Coach Sherwood was like a father figure to me. I mean, his intelligence and one thing about it, when Coach Sherwood spoke, he always had my eyes, fixed on him, and I could tell that he was different. He was just like I said, he taught life lessons. And his whole program, the Angry Red and the whole brotherhood, the fellowship, I bought right into it.
Right.
So yeah, he was real special to me.
I'll get you a beer.
Do you feel like those lessons have played a big role in your life after high school?
Yeah, definitely. Because I know being involved in praying every day and how different coaches would teach scripture and stuff like that. That was real. That made a real impact on my life, and that's why I always look forward to being in the midst of a group. Cause looking forward to what Coach Sherwood was gonna say next. What was gonna be the next concept, and just following him through. So he played a major role in my life and growing up really.
Good. Wow, well said. Billy, what about you, man?
Yeah, Coach Sherwood was always a real special place in my heart. When I remember coming that spring, I had gotten well, and that spring of my freshman year, um, I remember him during spring ball. We had us separated, but he had me to come over with the varsity and start practicing. Right guard, can't remember the guy that was ahead of me, but he was a senior and or was going to be a senior. But I remember little things. At the end of it, I remember a lot of our teammates were headed to a family fun park, and they would talk, getting together and organizing, and I was just over there, getting my stuff together, things that just wasn't something that was in the cards for me. But I remember him coming over, and I guess, he's always watching, and it was always attentive. And I remember him coming and asking me, "Are you not going? Bro? What are you going?" I said, "Nah." He said, "Come in my office." And I went in there, and I remember him saying, he said, "Here, you give me a little money from the petty cash," and said, "You come and you cut mow my yard." I said, "Okay." So I could go with the guys to the fun park and do the stuff with everybody. But and he did that on a regular. He always
It's all right, man.
um he always looked out for me. When I would go to his house to to mow the yard or whatever, he would grill while I was doing it, and then he would turn around and still pay me again. But from that to, I remember going off to Tarleton State, coming back, during that Christmas break, he asked me to come up and talk to him a little bit, because they had reached out to him about becoming their head coach there. And, he wanted to talk to me and ask me what I thought about the place and everything. But, not just from football, but just, I never, just the trip to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I mean, there were so many things that he did with me, for me, including me. I mean, even my college visits for recruiting trips, he took me there. So, yeah, a father figure is a good example. A lot of the things he did and taught,
Something
I still carry with me.
yeah.
Very touching, Billy.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's so moving. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you. Jerry?
There's not enough good things to say about Coach Sherwood. I mean, he was the first coach I think I'd ever the first coach that I ever knew that never had to raise his voice. He was a quiet leader. He just had that spirit about him. He just, like I think Billy and them said, you'd strap your boots on and follow him anywhere, and when I know when I lost or I failed at whatever I was supposed to do, I felt bad. Uh, I didn't want to lose. And the main reason I think is because I didn't want to let him down.
Mhm.
He bottom line, he loved us. I mean, the father figure, uh, he cared for every person on that team. And he didn't have favorites, I mean, he loved us all, but I mean, I remember going to his house. Uh, I tell you, just, it really killed me when, I didn't know that he had passed. And I went to, I think Plainview a couple of weeks after and found out and didn't even know, or I would have been there. That's how much I thought of him. And Jackie's same way, uh, Stan's mom and dad are just, they were great people. And you can probably ask anybody on that team and probably would say the same things that, you know, uh, but one thing that really amazed me about Coach Sherwood, whatever he put his mind to, he could do it. He decided he was going to be an artist. And Billy can probably tell you this, in his house, you know, he had pictures. I mean, he actually was a good artist. He decided he wanted to learn to play the piano, and he can play the piano. I mean, whatever he put his mind to, he was amazing at that. And but I don't know that I have any more respect for anybody than I do Coach Sherwood.
Well said.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Well, kind of like what Jerry said, he was real quiet, and I mean, you know how everybody's been in locker rooms, and they're loud, I mean, every time. But whenever he would come in, it would get quieter, in case he had something to say, because you didn't want to miss it. It wasn't, he didn't tell anybody to shut up whenever he came in the room. It was, it was just out of respect, in case he had something to say. And, I just always tried to take a lot of, what he gave me, I guess, was, treat everybody with respect, irregardless. Whether you agree with them, don't agree with them, whatever it is, respect them and their views just as much as you would anybody else. And, kind of take that, give everybody an equal opportunity, equal chance. And, kind of like the other guy said, all one big family, irregardless, I mean, we all came from different backgrounds, and everything, but, and, it's been 40 something years, and, see you guys and feel like it was yesterday. And, everybody, and, still do anything for anybody. And, I think he brought a lot of that to all of us. And, if we had that more, be a better place. That's for sure.
Good. What about you, Rodney?
Let me, you need to unmute.
Go ahead. You're muted.
You're muted.
Bottom left corner, there should be a microphone. Click on it.
Call Sherry.
There she is.
There she is.
Now, Sherry, you're on the camera and recorded. There you go.
Yeah.
All
You
right,
got me?
Rod. All right, Rodney. What about you, brother?
Thanks, Sherry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit different than everybody else, but you know, there's different things about Coach Sherwood that I remember. And the thing I think about for me is he taught me forgiveness. And he probably taught me forgiveness better than anybody else that's going to carry me through life. But there's something else he taught me. The leadership, I mean, and the camaraderie that we've had with these people, we wouldn't have had it without him. And he taught me there's more important things than football. And that was something it took me a long time to come to grips with, because I thought football was everything. And it was just a little piece of our life.
Cool.
And I have to thank him for teaching me that.
Well said. Mr. King?
I will tell you this, the coaches I played for, from Sherwood to Coach Bill to, I will say this off the top of the charts. Coach Wiseman, Kevin Wiseman, was probably my favorite coach of all time. Defensive end, whatever. But I will kind of get in there with Rodney, with Sherwood, Wiseman, Williams, Coach Williams,
Yeah.
Coach Tone, even Buchanan, whatever. I learned how to deal, and I'm looking at Kevin Mosley on the screen right now, in halfway Hell County 4-H, with what those coaches taught me how to deal with people in certain situations, whatever. Those coaches, Coach Tone, Coach Tomlin, all of them, they taught me how to deal with people in certain situations. And you don't get pissed off, dude. They can tell you whatever they want to. You just deal with it.
Life
That's
situations.
that's what I have learned from Sherwood to Tone to all those coaches I've just reiterated with, dude. They have made me evolve into a whole other different person. Right, Kevin?
Yep. Absolutely.
Good.
You all know who I'm talking about.
There we go.
For him.
There we go.
All right. Well, enough said. So, guys.
Baseball.
Hey, you said Coach Sherwood never raised his voice. There was only one time he ever raised his voice, and y'all know when it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Whenever he went running at him, telling him he will not raise his voice.
No.
Only time Sherwood ever raised his voice is when he said,
What?
What?
You broke. We can't hear you.
You're muted or something, dude.
Pack up, dogs.
before the game.
There you
Yeah.
go. Say that again.
Yeah. When he said, "Pack up, dogs."
Okay.
We slapped that sign.
Yep.
Nice. Good.
You know, one last thing I want to get on this recording too about Coach Sherwood, because I was thinking about when Jerry said about how he, you know, I don't know if y'all remember. Well, I guess we was getting ready to play. I don't know if it was Monterey or one of them, but it was homecoming, and Coach Sherwood had told us our job is not to build bonfires.
Yeah.
Our job is to win the game.
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to go out and hunt firewood and stuff for the bonfire. Of course, I, feeling cocky, go out and hunt for firewood. I don't know if y'all remember, I stepped on a nail.
I remember that.
Yep.
And Coach, I tell you what, because Coach Sherwood, after they said, okay, this is what the treatment he need. Fortunately, we had an open week. I went up there every morning at 6 o'clock for treatment. I went at lunchtime for treatment. I went after school for treatment to try to get my foot right. The trainer organized it, but Coach Sherwood told him, so don't worry about it. I'll be there with him. I'll come and do it. And, how we're talking about what he's done or the difference he's made. Every day, man, for 2 weeks, he was up there 3 times a day with me, getting that water ready and treating my foot to get it right. And I remember it was still just slightly tender before game time, but we was all at the door in the field house. He had given his speech, and then he looks at me and he says, first play, I'm coming right behind you. You ready? I said, I'm ready, coach. I'm ready. I am ready. And I never forget, first play. After that first play, the foot was numb, so it wasn't a big deal. But I'll never forget that, man. That's the kind of impact he had. But I remember, I wanted to say that because I remember that day after stepping on the nail, I went to all day. Everybody kept saying, Coach Sherwood want to see you. Coach Sherwood want to see you. Coach Sherwood want. I'm like, how do he know? It just happened last night. All day. Now go to the field house. I'm gonna be slick. I'm gonna go to the trainer, get my foot taken care of, wrapped, and I'm gonna go to practice. I go in there. The trainer says, Coach Sherwood want to see you.
I might have played high school baseball.
I go. You know how we had the film room? His office was on the other side. It's like divine. I opened the door from the locker room, and at the same time, Coach Sherwood is coming through the door from his office into the film room. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't scream or holler. He just simply said, you let me down. And I tell y'all, I felt so small. I mean, that hurt me to my heart. But every day, he helped me get my foot right. I mean, he was invested in us. In everyone, he was invested in us.
Wow. Great story. Well, guys, we've been on for over 2 hours, so we gotta say our good night, our parting words, and so we can all go to the bathroom because we were drinking a few of these. But so Harold, let's start with you. Let's hear your parting words.
Yeah, my parting words.
No mention names, please. Love you, Harold. Love you, Harold. I love you, man.
I love you, Flo. All these guys that we were talking together tonight, Rodney, me, Kevin, Hollis, Billy Yarbrough, we all grew. Huh? Jerry Gargle.
Yeah, Jerry had some locks back in high school.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the bald one now, though.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Harold.
Anyway, it's funny now that we're all 60-something years old. We're old, we're tired, but we're all still a group of guys that grew up playing football, basketball, baseball, slow pitch, softball, whatever together. And it's good. It's good seeing all of y'all and having fun talking crap to each other. Right, Rodney?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Harold. Rodney, go ahead, brother.
It's not just the sports, but it's just all these people that we've grown up with, went to school with since we were little. We're like a family. And like I said before, we're always going to have each other's back. I'll be there if any of you need me. We'll always be there. That's all I got.
All right. I still want that $5,000 sponsorship.
Hey, Do you need it now, or you want it cash?
He got it in his front pocket.
Oh, you know what? I'll just take a case of beer. There you go. Hollis.
Man, yeah, it's good to see you guys, man. You know, who would have thought it? 45 years later, we still standing, we still brothers, we still got nothing but mad love for each other. And,
Yeah, exactly.
and I couldn't have done it with a better group of guys growing up and all the things we did to grow together and learn together, man. You guys are great and have always been my good friends. So that's all I want to leave with y'all, and y'all stay healthy, get out and walk around and do some stuff, stay functioning, keep that body going. You know, that body can help that mind flow a little better. So
Just like your
but yeah, man,
shirt
I
says.
love you guys, and I'm just glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, I was saying just like your shirt says,
Oh,
health. Health. All right, Kevin.
Just like the guys said, I mean, it's been 45 years, and but it seems like yesterday. I mean, we were talking to Lisa, talking about the early onset Alzheimer's or whatever. I mean, I can't remember what I had for lunch today, but I remember all the stuff I did with these guys, and those are the things that I'm going to take with me, and I see some of the guys more than others, but it doesn't matter when we're all together. It's all the same, and love seeing you guys, and it just brings back all of those memories, of a lot of the good times we had. And Flo, I love what you've done with this. Honestly, first time I did this, I told my wife before I came on, I said, God, what am I doing? I mean, I don't know if I want to do this. And whenever you asked me to come back and do it, I was like, yeah, I'll be there, because just to see all you guys is worth every bit of it. And, love the time we spent together, and would not trade it for anything in the world. And you guys are all important to me in different ways. But love you guys, and hope to see you guys a lot sooner than 45 more. So
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, show up to a reunion. We could do it more often.
Yeah.
Jerry, let's hear your parting words, brother.
Hey guys, I tell you, I couldn't be more happy to be on here with you guys. It's been just listening to the stories and going back in time. It just this is the best day of the year so far, by far. Hanging out with you guys for 2 hours, and I'm like Rodney. Y'all need anything at all, I'm always there. For sure. And I'm sorry Luthez couldn't be on here. I'd love to have seen him, and I think Stan was going to try to be on, and I mean, just the other 50 of us that didn't get to partake today. But I tell you, it's always comforting to no matter how many years it's been since we talked to each other or seen each other, that just seems like we just pick up right where we left off, and that's just true friendship. So
Absolutely.
love you guys, and I'll second what Kevin said. I've listened to bits and pieces of several Goat Knuckle with Flo so far, and I tell you, I just love it, especially just all different classifications and learning about what's coming up in Plainview. I think was the last one, the all school reunion.
It's in July.
That's coming up in July or whatever. But I appreciate everybody tonight, and thank you.
Well, I'll say now maybe speak now. I'll say now we're going to try to do a live show. I just bought some equipment today to do a live show, but there's a camera. I still got to do some things, some some due diligence. So hopefully Lisa and I will be. We're gonna go. Lisa and I are going, and we're hoping on Friday night to have a live show from there. So
Downtown.
we're downtown. So hopefully we can do it. So if you guys are in town, come see us, come talk to us live, and yeah. But we'll again, we're working on it. And then Jerry, before we get to you, Bill, you remember I flew there and I had lunch
yeah.
with you and Crystal Gaylor.
Shoot, yeah, I still got the pictures of.
Yeah.
Where'd we go eat? We ate at fajitas.
The Mexican place. Some Mexican.
Fajitas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was fajitas, called fajitas or something. Off the 17, if I remember right.
Yep. Had lunch with you guys. Enjoyed every
Yeah,
bit of it.
yeah.
Thank you. All right, Billy, you're the last one, brother.
All right. I just want to say, hey, I enjoyed being on the show. I like the format, what you're doing, what you got going here. I don't want to say a lot, but I do want everybody to grab something to drink. And I want to toast to those that are here on the show, those that are still with us, and a toast to those that have gone on way too soon. Because I still remember each and every one of them. Oh, in the good times we had, the bad times, the rough times, and I love every experience I had being a Plainview Bulldog. And so, cheers.
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 Well said, brother. Well said.
No said there.
I just, Lisa used this part where I just want to say, I grew up hanging out with some of you guys too. I played baseball with Rodney and Kevin, and Harold. He showed up to my dad's funeral in January. That was very touching, Harold. I felt it here, brother, when he showed up to my dad's funeral. And Hollis, I hung out with you several times at NRR. So had lunch. Billy, I will definitely next time I'm in Plainview, you need to come down from Amarillo, have lunch with me, man. I knew you back in high school, but didn't hang out with you. But I know who you were, and when Lucas mentioned, I said absolutely we got to have him on the show. There was a big impact for that full team. So thank you, thank all of you guys for showing up. All right, Lisa, parting words, because I got to go to the bathroom.
No, well, I just want to reiterate what
Take your time, Lisa. Take your time.
Okay. Anyway, thank you again for coming on the show. I'm going to just share with you guys. This is show 51, right, Michael?
Yes, 51.
Out of all of the shows that we've had, this is one of my favorites, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it takes a true man to be vulnerable and courageous enough to share your heart. And you have all done that tonight through your stories, through your camaraderie, your brotherhood, your friendship. And it's just a testimony to who you are as human beings. And the people that watch the show tonight are going to be as moved as I've been. And I mean that with all sincerity. And it's just been very inspiring to see men love each other so freely, and we need a lot more of that in the world. And you really showed what fine men you are, and so I really, really appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Basketball, baseball.
Well, guys, again, thank y'all. And hey, don't let this be the last show of Hollis. I want a basketball one. We hadn't had a basketball podcast like that. You guys want to come back on and talk some more? Reach out to Lisa and I. Could be two of y'all, all y'all again, or doesn't matter. I know you guys have more stories.
Hey, Flo,
we'd love to hear them. So,
Flo, like I said before, I'm in anytime, buddy. Just give me a holler.
Flo, we can't tell all those stories though.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Thank you for showing up.
Love you.
Till the next time. Good night.
Peace.
Hollis, love you, brother.
All right, bro. I'm gonna
See
see
you guys
y'all next time I'm in Plainview.
July.
There you
Everyone
go.
come in July. All school reunion, July 18th and 19th, I believe.
Yep.
Cool.
Come say hi to us.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
JC.
Rodney.
See you, fellas.
Hollis, it was good seeing you again.
You too. We'll be talking.
We'll be
Good night.
talking.
All right.
All right, brother.
Bye.
Yes, I totally agree with. There was more organic stories shared on this show. And yeah, when Billy broke down that you know what Mr. Sherwood meant to him, and he didn't have to share that. Not having money, I guess, at a young age, and he chose to do it, and that's very man of him. So
Yeah, yeah. I was very moved by him and by everybody in their story.
absolutely,
I was
absolutely,
moved by just um, like you said, we didn't have to ask a lot of questions. The ease with which they converse with each other.
yes,
Camaraderie is still very much alive 45 years later. And it was a mutual admiration society, and it was so fun to be
yes,
a witness.
absolutely,
And I know the people that watch this are going to they're going to feel it. And this show had a very palpable energy to it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Way past my bedtime, brother.
yes, absolutely. Well, good night, and who's our next show? Oops, who do we have next, real quick? We have your cousin, Jerry Serrano, a well-known musician, correct?
Yeah.
So he'll be on the next show on the 13th of May. So good night. Peace and love. Peace and love.